Hey, YouTube. All right, I'm going to wait a few more minutes, see if anyone comes into the chat. I know it takes a few minutes before people get on, so I'm going to wait.
Here's something I wish I knew. If you owe less than $356,362 on your home and you haven't missed a mortgage payment in 6 months, you should check out Congress's mortgage stimulus program for the middle class. You will be shocked when you see how much that you can save. Calculate your new house payment today.
It's Sunday, August.
All right, after a certain while, I'm going to wait. If I don't see anyone come on, then I'm just going to be real brief and end it. So let me wait a few more minutes and see who comes on.
August 8, 2021. I wanted to make this video today. I was thinking about a few things earlier this afternoon, reading a few articles I'm going to share with you. And, the more I read, the more that I use my own two eyes and observe what is really happening, the more I realize that we are being told a lie. The numbers that they spoon feed us every day about how great the economy is doing, how great the banks are doing, the explosive growth with the GDP, the unemployment numbers, all of this is a huge lie. And the sad and scary thing is there are people that are making huge decisions based on these numbers, based on these lies, and these people are going to get wiped out. And so we live in a time now where so many people rely on the internet and rely on the television, and they've stopped to think for themselves. People, I think, now just like being told what to do. They just like being told that everything is going to be okay, that everything's doing incredibly well, that this is the greatest economy we've ever seen, that everything's growing, the economy, jobs, your personal savings, everything's growing, right? It's such a lie. And people are making decisions based on these fraudulent numbers and these lies, and they're going to pay the ultimate price here. And, for myself, and I can only speak for myself, but the more due diligence that I do, the more that I use my own two eyes, and when I'm out and I see what is really happening with the vacant office buildings, the vacant restaurants, the vacant retailers, and this homeless crisis that is absolutely blown out of control, I know something's very, very wrong, no matter what they say. But I want to share a few of these articles. The first one on the hedge I was reading earlier today, 1 million U.S. and global credit card numbers dumped online by Russian-speaking criminal organization. Now, when I read stuff like this, I just think, how safe is your money sitting in a bank account? How safe is anything that you depend on using a computer to get to, whether that be a savings account, a checking account, a money market? How safe is a 401k? How safe are cryptocurrencies? How safe is any money that you have stored online? It's easy accessibility for a criminal, for ransomware. What if the grid goes down? Can you use your money? What would you do? This is when you better have things that you can barter with. This is why I continue to tell all of you to make sure you have food and water put away. I think there's some confusion out there because we speak a lot about owning assets like gold and silver. But if you watch this show regularly, we just said this when we were out in Texas with Aaron, that if you don't have security, if you don't have food and water, if you don't have your debts paid down, you have no business buying gold and silver at the moment. That's for the very end. You better have security. You better have food, water. You better have the debts paid off. That's what you need to be working.
All right, y'all. I don't know why I'm not having anyone come on the channel. So I'm going to be brief. So growing a YouTube channel. Now, I've subscribed to several YouTube channels that I visit regularly. And to me, it's like growing a channel is that you have to either be a certain niche, meaning it will be a channel based on being preppers, saving money, the black sector, the beef sector, channels that are focusing on reviewing shows, or whatever it may be. But lately, it's been some big YouTube channels that has been restricted by Google, because Google owns YouTube, right? And I've seen people who were big on YouTube, they become the topic of other people on their channel. They don't elaborate too much on what happened. Like some people were like Bonnie Blue and AT Alien. I just today or earlier today, she had a channel that they said they restricted. So a lot of these content creators, they create backup channels and they turn around and do the same exact thing as their main channel. What they like to say, main channel. So to me, I'm like, if YouTube took away the channel for whatever the reason is, and then you turn around and make a backup channel to talk about the same thing that you made your channel about, what's the point? It doesn't seem to make any sense. And then for the fact that people, they turn around, make a very similar channel, and people tell their subscribers, oh, go ahead and subscribe, and they go ahead and try to build it back up again. Now, I don't know if it's a sign of what Google's going through or YouTube, and because people make their money not through subscribers. They make the money is mostly made through AdSense, they call it. AdSense and ads that you run through your channel, and also your sponsors. Like some people are fortunate to have a big channel, and then they have companies that send them products and they do product reviews. Some people, and then there's some people, well, most people, especially the ones that I've been watching, they make money either through super chats, or people put in their links, donate to their PayPal account, or whatever the case may be. And they're making their streams of income that way. Now, if you have a large channel, I'm not talking about a few thousand, 10,000, 50,000, 30, or 15,000 people because you could have 13,000 subscribers, but that don't mean all of those 13,000 people are actively watching either. So a lot of people don't really talk about how much they make, and it's not really good to do that anyway, but you pretty much have an idea, because before they changed that algorithm and the criteria that you have to have 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, for them to consider to be monetized, which I'm not. I'm still at 730 something or whatever it is, and I've been stuck on that number for probably a good year and a half, if because my channel didn't suddenly grow until maybe 2 years ago when I started. Oh goodness, I got the thing caught. I didn't start growing my YouTube channel until I was talking about Grubhub and the gig work. And because I was looking at other people who were doing the gig jobs and gig work, and a lot of people, and I guess we started following each other, subscribing to each other, because see, some people, that's when they started their channel. When they started their channel and they was talking about the gig work, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash, and all those other things, those people were starting out their channel as well. Now, some people managed to grow their channel because everyone was doing Uber, and they would always watch people who was making thousands of dollars a week, or saying they made thousands and thousands of dollars a week doing Uber. And a lot of people wanted to know how they could make money being an Uber driver or Grubhub. And because of that, people were following people just to get tips. And, I guess they figured you get the inside scoop on how to make money doing these gigs. So my name started going out there with I took a more different approach when I did Uber Eats and Grubhub and all, when I was doing my channel, talking about my experiences was not, let me show you how to make money being a driver. Mine was a vlog diary, basically, of my experience every day working, and my frustrations and my stories of what was going on during my gig work journey. People I've met and incidents that's happened and all this other kind of stuff. But I kept, a lot of people came and tell me, what I like about your channel, because you keep it real, and sometimes it may sound comical and funny, especially when I know I use the N word a lot and be like, hey, chick, niggas, whatever, or crackers, whatever. And I know that's not good to say, because you get easily flagged for being racially profiling people or stereotyping or whatever it is. But I mostly say things that most people don't really go out and say. Then the other part of my experiences when I started talking about taxes, because most of my experience or work experience was working for the government and doing taxes, as my career, I guess you could say, working with TurboTax and I was telling my experiences of doing taxes and being a tax examiner and working at the IRS for over 20 years, and my educational background and things of that nature. So I took a different spill, I guess you could say, from talking about it, because I was coming across a lot of channels where people was like, every time something, comes up about taxes or during tax season, people want to make videos about it. People come on and they say the same narrative over and over again. Oh, you could deduct, and they don't even know. Most people I would come across, they don't even they be wrong half the time. I was like, you could either take the miles or you take the actual expense, but you can't do both. And then when I clarify to people that if your schedule C is about doing gig work, Uber Eats and all that, then you would take the miles. And it's only miles that you driven while you're doing the gig work. So if you use your car for everything, personal, business, whatever, you can't take all those miles on your personal miles. And you're supposed to keep records, records, and it don't have to be nothing fancy. It could be a simple book or an app. And people think that, oh, I've driven X amount of miles, and they, it's like they think that you could, bring your taxes down to zero and not pay anything for 4 or 5 years. And I've been talking about that for several years. No, I don't edit my videos. No, I don't be with a fancy dress and doing all the fancy things with my videos. But I talk about it, and I may not and normal one, I may not even be as consistent with my, going online. Like right now I'm on Streamyard, and I've been here for 17 minutes. Ain't nobody been on, so I'm gonna talk. Just keep talking. Y'all just have to catch the replay or whatever the case may be. So when my channel grew the number of subscribers, and it didn't grow as much because, see, it all shows the pattern that people, when these people who made YouTube channels, and I came across, and some of them were the big YouTube channels, Jermaine Ellis, he was always, out there in California, and he was traveling all over the world and doing Uber Eats and on a skateboard and and then it was like, they were like one Geo up there in Chicago. I don't want to say Terry Tips is in that category, but there were like certain people, Calvin, I know that was Calvin. There were certain people who were big YouTube, they had big YouTube channels that focused on the gig work and how to make $10,000 a month. And he had all, the blackboard and had all these figures, and people had made a lot of money in referrals. Because at the time when most people were making money with other people signing up to do referrals with the Uber Eats, and a lot of that money people made was through referrals, not so much that they made a lot of money doing actual Uber Eats and Grubhub. Now, some people made some good money when it came to the driving aspect, but you have to understand, the ones who was making the money, even I would say when I was doing Uber and then Uber Eats and stuff, most of the money that was made was when they was paying $5 at DoorDash per delivery, plus the tips, and people were tipping. When you did Uber Eats, it was like, it could be like $2 and something cents a mile, and see, that was when people were really making the money. Now, prior to me doing it, which would have been 2016, the summer of 2016. So it was the midsummer, put it that way. People were doing Uber, not Uber Eats, because Uber Eats didn't come out until 2016 in Atlanta. Like that's fall. But when people were doing Uber, and I want to say Lyft, I'm not sure, because the ones had that big mustache in front of the cars. I want to say that was Lyft, but it was another company. But how it came about, how did it evolve into this big, how this big economy of what's called gig economy, and I know it all came out of California. It all started out in California with the apps, So in 2020, in about 4 years or so, in 2025, I'm going to say that the gig economy would be, I want to say it's going to either be 10, 12 years old. It's not going to be 20 years. I know that for sure. But it's going to be at least 10, 12 years old. I need to do some research in terms of when did Uber, I mean, you could Google it, really, to be honest. It's not hard. When did it, but I know that it all started out basically out there in San Francisco in that market, and 2020, 2015, maybe 2014, I don't know, 2012, I don't know. But it grew somewhere around that period of time, 2013, either 2012 would be the latest, but it wasn't 2000. But I don't even know how I came across Uber, to be honest. I don't know how I came across it, how I came up to sign up, because I remember I signed up in 2015 in the fall, and I didn't think about it after that until 2016, the middle of the summer of 2016, when I needed to get off my butt and start making money after my stint with the government ended. And there weren't a hell of a lot of positions or jobs that came easily during that time, because I've been working there for so long that when I did go out to interviews, people was like, you worked there for a long time. And people had this misconception that being a government employee is job security, which I will tell y'all that it wasn't, as y'all know from my experiences, because, they had government shutdowns. People were not getting paid for few months when that government shutdown happened. And let me tell you, it was stressful. I mean, it was stressful. And it wasn't stressful for me because I knew how to set my money aside, but it was more stressful that it was not stressful to me when the government shut down. The first time when I experienced it was because I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. And I knew that it was going to happen. And I said, okay, I know they're going to pay back pay, for sure. But I knew it was coming. And I knew other changes were coming in regards to how the government was going to downsize, and people were not, especially my previous coworkers who were working there for 20 something, 30 something years, and they were on their way to exit to retire. And then some of them I come across and speak to, they said, oh, I retired. And there was like a whole drove of people retired, And that last one, which I wasn't there at the time, the one under Trump, that one was much longer than the previous ones now. And I'm quite sure in the fall, in September, that's when they go over this all over again. Every September they go through this, not the budget, but I'm not going to be technical about it, but it's when they do the funding for the government, and then they always have the deadline and say, oh, if they don't extend, the government's going to close over the weekend and all that stuff. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, going back to growing my channel, my YouTube channel. So it came to a point where it came to a snag because, see, people weren't going on YouTube talking about what's going on with Uber Eats and Grubhub. Now, there's some people, they still try to talk about it, still trying to talk about Grubhub and being news and all that stuff. But people are not, I don't know. You're always going to come across new sets of people who subscribe to people's channels that gets on there and talk about, what's going on with the gig work, Grubhub and Uber Eats, but they're not as prevalent like it was. They're not on there getting any kind of tips because there's really no tips to be done. It's like people are not making, there's nobody you see coming out of the YouTube streets doing the major gig work food delivery apps, DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats and stuff. You don't see those people talking about it as much. The ones who were driving around, actual driving around showing their money and look what I made. I made this every week, because the ones who were making that amount of money like that, flashing their app, they either got deactivated from these major apps and they're doing other things, like let me tell you, like for instance, Gio. Talk about the greatest one, the bearded one. He was the main one who was going on YouTube saying he made $2,000-3,000 a week. Blah blah blah. And then when he got deactivated, that became major news. Then he started doing Lyft. Then you was only making half of the amount of money that you were making when you were doing it. And then when Rona came around last year, that really put a damper on a lot of people doing the gig work. Then people were doing food deliveries. They started doing the food deliveries, and you see them. And I'm talking about somebody else. You saw them on a bicycle or on an electric bike in Atlanta doing it, and they weren't making as much. All of a sudden, I didn't see their channels as much anymore. They're not subscribed to mine because I blocked them because, how you going to meet me in face to face and then insult me? Because this was like a good months later. It was something that was said between us, and I pretty much, I know what it was. You going to get offended because I choose to express my experience and telling me, a grown woman, you a grown man, of how I should feel, And then we had that was our dispute, and then since then I blocked you. You can't come on my channel, and I blocked. And then we had our little falling out, because like I said, when I express opinions or feelings, that is my expression and feelings. And a lot of people, I remember at one point people used to always come on there telling about, I hope you ain't a person who, not just me, but I'm talking about people used to criticize other people because they didn't want to go in the ghetto, in the hood, to do deliveries because they didn't make no money. It's true. That if you go in the hood and you go to certain parts in Atlanta, that you're going to be humping, taking up water, and you may get a tip. You may be fortunate to get a tip from people, but it's not, people, they're not doing it for charity, And I'm sorry, if you have to say, okay, I'm only going to work in certain areas, because it's not always guaranteed that customers will give a tip, because they will always find something to complain about, and especially when something ain't right, or whatever the case may be, regardless of your income level or race or whatever. But that you have to be business minded set when you're doing this work, especially when you do deliveries. Especially when you do deliveries. When I worked at Domino's and stuff, and people were like, oh God, They would go into the hotels up on Lawrenceville Highway, up in those ratchet hotels, you know. And then you'd be like, oh, you may get a tip, may not get a tip, you may get $1. You know, it'd be all kind of stupid stuff. And I hate to say it because when you do 20, 30, 40 deliveries and you keep going to the same area all the time and you keep experiencing the same thing. You know, when I get Domino's, for instance, and I was like, oh, hell. We had to go to pick any one of those ratchet hotels, you know, and then you go up there, deliver. People are like, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no tip, you know. They ain't got shit. And then I used to always hate when you deal with certain people of a generation, you know, they didn't tip. They don't, you know, they ain't trying to tip. They not even trying, you know. You know. So my whole big gripe when I was doing my videos of my experiences was always, I mean, it was a little harsh. I'm admit that it was a little bit harsh when I spoke about it because y'all just, you know, some of y'all who haven't done this type of work or whatever, some of y'all know, you know that, you know, you have to be walking up 3 flights of stairs and you know, carrying cases and cases of water and people just sitting up in their ass. You know, you got grown ass kids in the house, teenage kids. I'm not saying, you know, yeah, you may pay for the delivery or for the service, but goddamn, you know, if you knew you ordered a whole bunch of water, all this stuff, and you got grown ass teenagers in the house, and you see me pull up in the car and I'm walking up the stairs with items and things like that. And, you know, you're trying to tell me that you don't have no kind of responsibility to have those kids get off their lazy ass and help to get their stuff that they paid for, that they sat around the house all summer long, drinking up water and everything else, playing video games. You say sit there and tell me, because see, you're not supposed to go in the house. You just lay it on the door, you know, right in front of the door, and that's it. But goddamn, you're not even going to tip. That's the thing. You don't even try to tip. You don't even try to give a couple of dollars. You know? And then I could assure you, those same people who've been sitting around the house talking about they ain't got no job or they can't find no job, if I bet you within the year, 2 years, eventually, those same people who use the service or whatever the case may be, something's gonna happen when they ain't got no money, they ain't got no job. They're gonna have to do those same gig work themselves, and then they're gonna experience the plight of working and making money. Because let me tell you, I'll be driving around just like that last week. I tell you, a week ago, the person came to deliver the food, Uber Eats, to the person for the cut my grass, and she pulled up into my dry port, looking at me cockeyed, all crazy and stuff. Punch that bitch straight in her face. See, this is what I be talking about, y'all. I be real raw with when I got something to say. And then she was like, "Give me my copy." See, she was probably about 20ish, you know, young girl, whatever, that needs her ass kicked. Disrespect. How you just gonna curse at me? Well, cursing at me, carrying it on, talking to me crazy. I said, "Bitch, get that car out my driveway," you know. But you sitting here cursing and carrying, had all that tape wrapped around her car, Scotch tape, not duct tape, but Scotch tape holding up the bumper. It was a white car. I wish I had my phone. I would have took a picture of her and the license plate. Stupid ass. Anywho, let me digress. I'm getting off topic. So then, so I figured, okay, you figure how old she was, because she wasn't no 30ish or nothing. I don't know, 20ish, whatever. See, when I started doing these gig jobs, see, that would have been what? 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, I would assume she would have been probably still live at home for all I know. Probably still live at home with mama. Ain't paying no bills, whatever. She was probably one of those teenage sitting at the house, ordering Uber Eats and everything else. And then you come of age to the point where you have to find a job. So you figure, okay, I'm gonna do Uber Eats. I could tell one of those dumb bitches live right around the neighborhood because see, ain't too many people. You're gonna be driving around Stone Mountain doing Uber Eats. Trust me, most likely you live in the area. You ain't living no other side of town and go all the way to Stone Mountain to do no food delivery. You live in the area. Trust me. They live somewhere in the area. And you were once a customer, you were once a teenager in the house who's now come of age. Because see, a lot of these a lot of these younger people now, see, think about it. If they 20, 21, see, and 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when Uber came, that means you were of age where you came up ordering Uber Eats, Grubhub or whatever, taking Uber as a child, well, I won't say take it to Uber as a child, but yeah, you probably would have been one of those people who didn't have a car at the time. You took Uber, Lyft, you ordered food. Now you become of a certain age, 18, 19, and then you need to look for a job. And then rather than if you worked at McDonald's or these fast food places, you say, I'm gonna do Uber Eats, and then you have a little piece of car, because there ain't gonna be nothing expensive. You're gonna get a little piece of car. You have your little driver's license. Now you doing the deliveries for people. So that same way that you came as a customer, as a child, ordering the Uber Eats and Grubhub or whatever, pizza delivery, Domino's, or ordering food, and you turn around and that's your first so-called job doing that same thing. If you didn't tip as a customer as a child, trust me, you're going to feel the experience of how you work, because you can tell these people ain't got no jobs, no social skills, no job skills, no nothing. Just the way you came pulling up, and I ain't saying nothing at first because I was backing out my cars so he could cut the grass and blow the debris off the sidewalk or whatever, and then you come pulling up in the driveway. You didn't even park on the side of the street. You parked up in my drive-through. And then when I inquired, I says, what is this about? I didn't order anything. This address, I said, you will talk to me like you crazy. See, I didn't talk to her any kind of way until she started talking to. Then you start saying, "Yeah, you move your fucking." Then you started cursing at me. See, it took every mind for me not to beat that bitch down in the damn drive-through. Really, it did. But I said, let this bitch go, because she's simple-minded anyway, with her little cockeyed and putting tape on the bumper of your car. I said, this bitch ain't got no fucking sense. That's how I look at it. I look at you like you're stupid. I look at you how you come off, you come driving up with, you should have seen this. It's tape, regular white Scotch tape, holding up the bumper. She must have had about 10 billion pieces of tape holding up that car. This is stupid. Then you come out the car and then you got, literally, this bitch had like she's cockeyed. Looking all stupid. Ugly girl. They looking all stupid like retarded. Man, I look at you, I said, girl, you slow. You slow. And after when you curse me out and stuff, I said, just get the hell on. Cockeyed bitch. Shoot, I don't give a damn. People like, don't say that about the kids, man, shit. Man, please. Some of these kids, and that's what she is. She's a kid. I'm 50-something. People say, hey, I got nothing to do with it. You show disrespect, and you're going to get it. You're going to get disrespect. See, I'm the last one to mess with. You're going to pulling up. My drive-through already. Already ruin people be driving up there rather than parking on the curb and stuff. What the hell you park driving up at my drive-through like that? Eventually I have to get that thing re-cemented or whatever. Ooh. See, that's why, so people get all mad about, you ain't call everybody everywhere, whatever. When you act like a dumb nigga and stupid ass cracker, whatever, you're going to get called out. Now, I don't do this in people's face because sometimes I have to walk away. Sometimes I just have to walk away because sometimes it ain't, you can't, ain't point saying nothing to some of these people because some of these people be looking stupid as hell. Stupid as dumb as hell. But anyway, that's really what I'm getting off that little topic because I'm quite sure I'll encounter more dumbasses, especially you live here in Atlanta and Stone Mountain. You'll come across one of these dumbass people. And sometimes you just have to look at people and be like, whatever. But some people, you go to these stores and you ask people a question. They don't know how they talk. I went to Walmart the other day and I was like, excuse me, where's your Casio calculators? And he's like, I said, can you speak up, please? Because I don't understand. Even if you have a mask on your face, what you grumbling about? Like, pointing. I said, where are you pointing to? So I was like, are you slow? People, it ain't slow. They ain't nothing wrong. They don't know how to talk. They mumbling and stuff. I said, excuse me, can you use your words? I have a 2-3-year-old niece and grandnieces and stuff. They could speak better than that. They be, they people need to get off that damn weed. Ever since weed became legal, people be smoking. Then you walk out the house smelling funky with weed. And it ain't so much. It don't even smell like. I remember back in the day, weed used to have a certain kind of very distinct smell. I didn't smoke. I didn't do no mess like that. But I don't know what it is. It's like between the what you call it, hookahs, not hookahs. Yeah, hookahs, and electric cigars or cigarettes or whatever they call it, and people smoking weed. I don't know what the hell people be doing. Just because they made something illegal don't mean you do it every day. Because some people comprehension skills and critical thinking skills is like gone. Some of these places they need people so bad. They, especially these low income jobs, people, at these fast food restaurants and places, they be needing people so desperate that they'll hire anybody to talk to people any old kind of way. And trust me, I'm not putting that on people of a certain race because some of these white folks be acting a little foolish too. They foolish as well. Went to Cracker Barrel a couple weeks ago and, and that was, I ain't even going into that story, but they not excluded from my wrath either. They just as stupid as well. And I just come into places, I'm spending my money and people just don't have the social skills. They want to be, just talk to people all kind of crazy. I was like, you know what? Where's Madison? Where's the other waitress that I had when I came here the last time? She was real nice. But some of these people, I said, and I told him, I said, I don't speak to the manager. I said, first of all, I came here, I asked for this, and this person was talking to me this kind of way, and whatever. The manager, like, they don't even say I'm sorry or nothing. I tell people, I said, number one, no, you're not going to remake this. You're going to remake a whole new order, and you can throw this in the garbage. Well, what makes you think we would have served the same food? Well, sir, I don't know what y'all do. I said, I don't trust you. And I tell them that. Matter of fact, I'm going to get something totally different. And then after that, you never know. You too. And it wasn't so much about the food being, it's like, how is there nobody inside? There was hardly no one at the Cracker Barrel at this particular time of evening that it takes you all day to come and bring the food. And then when you bring the food cold. How is it cold if there's not even nobody hardly in there? And if there was people in there, was a few people in there, but they already were eating, getting their food, and then I'm watching them. All up in this corner, just chit chat, talking away like they on, like all of them was on a break at the same time, and just chatting away. Why don't you go and check people's orders that is ready rather than having sitting there getting cold? Because I assure you, if I order something and it ain't hot, you come take it right back, and you're not gonna put nothing in no damn microwave and reheat the food over, because that's what they'll do. Is a certain thing that I do when I get my food initially. I said, nope, I want it refixed all over again. You're going to throw that away. Because, you're already paying you're already paying a lot of money anyway on the food that normally shouldn't even be the price that is paid. So, so I bought a gift card with Cracker Barrel, and I said, oh, you know what? Because it was something that I wanted to eat, it was something with their pancakes at one time. And they used to have this real bacon. Now it's not even the same thing. I was like, I haven't even tried their pancakes. So I will not be going to Cracker Barrel anytime soon and spending my money again. So that's the end of that. I'm finished with that. So anyway, I'm supposed to be talking about my channel. Ain't nobody came on. I don't know where y'all at. So Trump rally. Well, who cares? No spamming on my channel. So let me block you. Who cares? Trump rally. How are you going to come on here? Trump already showed his ass. If you say, and I hate to say it, but Biden ain't doing too good himself in that administration for these last 6 months, to be honest. The way how things are being done and handled. And I'm not talking about the Rona either. Because, see, that spilled over from the previous administration and how that whole thing's been handled. And it ain't just the president. It's also the state governors and how they're handling it. No, everybody's afraid to say we need to shut down to get it under control. Nobody don't want to say nothing. Nobody want to mention shutdown because people want to come up there and start carrying on about, I need my job. I need my job and this and that, And then when now the places are open, ain't nobody going back to, I need this job. They're not going back to those jobs that's been vacant after that. They want to stay at home talking about, oh, I'll stay at home. I ain't got, man, please. People act like, before the coronavirus and you was working at these very same jobs that you refused to go back to, you had kids and they were what, a year and a half, 2 years younger. A year and a half. It's been a year and 7 months. So the very same kids were young, much younger than they now, and they're a little bit older. You could work at a restaurant, you could work at some of these jobs, you simply, you have younger children, when school started up, because school's already started up here in Georgia, and by the end of August or the middle of August, put it that way, a lot of people will be back in school already. Matter of fact, I want to say the majority of people already back in school since last week. Thursday, Friday. So surely come the middle of August, a majority of the schools will be coming back because most of the schools in New York, in the Northeast, they go back to school like right after Labor Day. And September is not that far off. Before we know it, we'll be in September. So right after Labor Day, a lot of these major schools, districts across the country, everyone will be back in school by come the fall. Colleges be back in school. Universities, elementary, high school, all of them be back. But I don't know. Like I said, if some school districts have an option to do virtual school or go in the classroom, That's fine. Let people have the choice to do that, one or the other. But if you send your kids back to school, and I understand it's only 12 years old, 12 years and up can get the vaccine. If they under 12, there is no vaccine for if they like elementary, not elementary, kindergarten, like 5, 6 years old or whatever. But to me, if you have younger children, I know people be like, I ain't taking that. That's your right. That's your right. But if you're gonna be out and about or whatever, why are we arguing about wearing masks? I should wear a mask. It should be my option to wear. Man, please. I can understand you may be objective about not getting the virus, the shots. You may have some reservations about that, but be warned, be aware. If you ain't gonna wear no mask, if you're not gonna get the virus, at least wear a mask. At least distance yourself. At least protect yourself to the point where you're not really out and about with people. Prior to me working to Amazon, I was working from home. Most of the time I was at home. I wasn't really all out and about in the streets. I would go to the, supermarket. I may go and get something to eat. But most of the time, a lot of these restaurants, they weren't open. So you had to go to the drive-thru. If I went to the grocery store, I went to the store. I kept myself in a distance. And this is before I got the shots. I wasn't going out and about like that. I wasn't out and about like that. But when I got it, because I got my second shot the day after 4th of July, and that's when I got mine. And the reason why mine took so long to get my shots done was because I wasn't trying to go downtown at a stadium or whatever. Because one, I wasn't trying to go to no parking issue. I wasn't trying to go downtown driving and all. I said, nope. Because I don't like driving downtown Atlanta, I used to do that all the time, but I wasn't going to go through. I was going to wait until it was like up the street, and a local CVS or whatever. And that's what I did. But I could assure you that when I go out and about, I'm keeping my distance, period, period. And that's what I did. I tried not to be in situations where it's like a whole lot of crowd of people and everybody around or whatever. I think the biggest crowd I probably been around was when I went to my nephew's wedding in Louisiana, when we were at the wedding. And even then I was sitting next to my sister, and then it was other people not around. So I still kind of kept distance then. And when we sat at the table for the reception at the dinner, other than that, because I knew they had their shots, So, and did I have a mask on? I don't think I had. No, I didn't have no mask on. If I did, it probably, I know why, because it was like 10,000 degrees hot. And I was like, ooh, that's what it was. Because even if you wear those cloth masks or those paper masks and it's hot, it will be, it'll be wet and get sweaty and stuff. So it gets kind of hard to breathe at those cloth masks when it's hot like that. When it's humid and stuff, and I was like, ooh. Because I'll be, wearing my mask when I'm at work at the warehouse. And sometimes I'll be like, I'll have to pull it down some to breathe. And I'm saying I can't breathe. But I'm saying it's that when it's humid, hot, it can get a little bit aggravating when you're trying to breathe through your nose and it's hot and stuff. And, that's why I don't hardly wear my glasses, because when you wear the glasses, your glasses be all fogged up. And then you be trying to whatever. But the point that I'm making is this: if you choose not to wear a mask, Well, if you choose not to get the vaccine, then at least wear a mask. I don't understand what the big argument is about masks. I mean, just put something on your fucking face. Shit. If they had massive fires, at one point there was fires in Georgia, and there was fires up in the West Coast and Tennessee, and it had so much smoke that it came all the way to Georgia, and they had that fire smell in the air, and that thing came all the way from Tennessee, and people would go outside, and you could have breathing problems, and it was that smoke, those forest fires and stuff, and it would, literally, it would come all the way from Tennessee to Georgia, and had all that smoke. It was a few years ago. You could see all the smoke in the air, and if you had breathing, respiratory problems and stuff, you had to wear something to not be affected, or you had to stay mostly in the house. So you don't know what, wearing a mask ain't no big deal. I don't understand it. People just go, I ain't no mask. I ain't no mask. Like, whatever. Well, anyway, so growing a YouTube channel, like I said, Google, YouTube, I think they're changing in terms of what they're trying to do, because financially, I don't know. This financial collapse and stuff, I wonder what effects does it have on Google? Because I'm quite sure there's some effects it have on Google with ads and company advertising and things like that. People, big channels, so-called big channels, they getting snatched, and people making backup channels and stuff like that. I don't know. I just come on here as a vlog to talk about experiences, and that's it. So I'm going to, I don't know. I do have a second channel, but it's not like the same thing I'm doing here. My other channel is my tax business channel. Now that one I'm going to work on a bit more, have different avenues of helping people, not just do taxes and just like, I don't want to work on the regular people who just, I got a couple of W-2, you can just input that information in and that's it. There's more to taxes than most people realize, even when I speak about investments to some people, and I speak about, I don't know. I don't try to get into all. What is this? You've been blocked? Oh, I already blocked you. Anyway. So until I really know what YouTube is going to go about, YouTube, the channels and stuff, they've been probably focusing more on the more commercial channels than just the regular people who want to come on, make YouTube. Because you don't really make that. Before they changed this 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours, you get probably a typical $100 a month with YouTube, with the little people, with the little channel that I had. It wasn't, and even if you had 10,000, you see people had 10,000, 13,000 subscribers and stuff. It's not the number of subscribers. It is the AdSense and the sponsorship. That's where it's made. You ain't making. I want to say if you had like 10,000 subscribers and stuff like that, you probably making maybe a couple $100 a month, maybe, but it ain't a whole lot. You have to have almost 3 figures. When I say 3 figures, I'm talking about you have like 250K, 100 and something K, subscribers to really do anything. And I've been watching a lot of different YouTube channels. Like some of the videos I've been watching was the van life. I've been watching a lot of those different channels about van life, particularly the black female, because I see more single black female doing van life. I don't see a lot of single black men doing van life. I've seen it's either going to be single black female van life or it's going to be two people, couples. These are going to be couples, whether it be black or white, but it seems to be more white folks with the van life that are couples, or they're going to be single women. Either be single white women, single black women, but I hardly see single black men doing van life. I have not seen a single black man do van life. Now I've seen single white men do van life, but not single black men. I haven't came across a black man doing single life van life unless they're married and they may have a spouse. I see them doing it with they may be with a girlfriend or a spouse, but not just a single black man. I've seen white men, but not black men do van life. So I found that interesting that I haven't came across anybody channel that's like that. So what else is there to talk about? Budgeting. Now, hopefully in my description box, I have a lot of referral codes from, receipts. You take a copy of your receipts and you get points for gift cards, and you get monetary monies from your receipts and, things like that. So just check that out in the description box. I appreciate it. You get points as well. I get points, but it's kind of like a game, I've been trying to say, okay, let me see how much points I can get in 6 months or 9 months or whatever. And then at the end of the year, depending on how many points I have, that's how I'm able to make some of my purchases on Amazon. Sometimes I have different points where I get to save. And then I started to use certain other apps where you go to the store, you get like a rebate. It's like 50 cents, $1 when you purchase it. And I was like, what? I could get back, and sometimes I make a good $5 in savings when I go to the grocery store, and I would check the apps because some of them you could use on multiple apps for one receipt. So, that accumulates to a lot, it accumulates to a lot. I could tell you that. So just check that out. It's a good way to save on your groceries and make money from going to the same thing you do. And if you go on there, there's a lot of, and it's been out for a while. Rakuten is one. I remember getting $75 from them because I had signed up when I had got my internet AT&T, and I said, wait a minute, let me go in here and I could get $45 back, and I did that. And then I keep forgetting to go on there because sometimes I do go on the websites to order things online. But if you go on there, you could make a lot of rebates, especially people are doing that during the holidays, especially in the holidays and going back to school. A lot of these places, people go back to school, they go shoe shopping, they buy clothes, and they go on that you go on that website, you get 1%, 2%, 3% back, $20, $25 back, or whatever, and that's a good way of making money. So I'm gonna start, but just check my referral links and some of the referral links that I posted. So anyway, is that the last thing? Because ain't nobody came on today. I don't know what happened. Well, in terms of future opportunities of my YouTube channel, I'll probably end up, I'm still going to be on here. And I need to make not so many live stream videos because I don't have a premium package with Streamyard. I only get 20 hours a week. No, 20 hours a month. And I know I haven't been on here every day, but I do be on here long. So I've been on here an hour and 5 minutes. Nobody came on. All right. I guess I'll talk to y'all. Y'all can choose to do the replay. See you.